بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدي وحبيبي ونور قلبي طب القلوب ودوائها وعافية الأبدان وشفائها ونور الأبصار وضيائها أبي القاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الهاديين المهديين الذين ذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. قال الله العلي العظيم في كتابه الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قال لهم نبيهم إن الله قد بعث لكم طالوت ملكا قالوا أنى يكون له الملك ونحن أحق بالملك منه ولم يؤت سعة من المال قال إن الله اصطفاه وزاده بسطة في العلم والجسم إن الله يؤتي ملكه من يشاء والله واسع عليم. صدق الله العلي العظيم. Our topic tonight is about the qualities of a good leader. As you know, in Islam, leadership is very important. That in Islam, in all stages of our life, Islam emphasized the importance of a leader. For example, before Rasulullah departed from this world, he emphasized on the leadership. That after him, who is to be the next leader? إني مخلف فيكم الثقلين كتاب الله وإترتي أهل بيتي. Even at the last breath of Rasulullah, that is to tell us the importance of a leadership. Not only in this world, even in Alam al-Barzakh, the importance of a leadership comes in. When we buried a deceased, there is something we call talqeen. And in a talqeen, we remind the deceased about your leaders. إذا جاءك الملكان المقربان رسولين من عند الله وسألاك عن ربك وعن دينك وعن نبيك وعن إمامك فلا تخف وقول في جوابهما. We remind them about what? The leadership. يوم القيامة also is important about the leadership. Quran tells you, you and I, when we go to the Ard al-Mahshar, Allah said, I'm not going to call any one of you, but with your leader. يَوْمَ نَدْعُو كُلَّ أُنَاسٍ بِإِمَامِهِمْ. Allah said, I'm not going to talk to you unless your leader comes with you. You want to cross the Sirat, the path to the Jannah or hellfire, Allah said, we are not going to let you unless you define your leader. That is how important leadership is in Islam. And more importantly for us, it is important to learn from the Karbala that one of the mistakes that took place during those days was certain people were not able to define the proper leader because they didn't understand the qualities of a true leader. They're thinking the qualities is based on money. And that's what happened in today's world too. We choose leader who makes a lot of money. No, he can be a leader. And you can see in our gatherings, a pious person can walk in today. Nobody cares about them. Nobody will make a room for them. But when a rich guy walks in, all the attention goes to him. Why? Because he has money. That is the world we live in today. Or sometimes we give preference to people and make them to become leaders because they're coming from certain tribes. But Islam says that's not the quality of a leader. The ayah we just read in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 247, brings us the total proper understanding how you and I can choose a proper leader. What should we look into a leader? When can I define and say, this person is a leader, that person is not a leader? What are the qualities? But before we go to those qualities, let's look at the verse that we just read. The verse talks about Bani Israel. After they lived a life without a leader for so many years. They were living under a tyrant leader called Pharaoh. Then Allah sent them a just leader called Musa alayhi salam. Came work with them. Took them from that tyranny of Pharaoh and he migrated them to Palestine. They lived in Palestine with dignity, with respect. After Musa alayhi salam died, they started not following the teaching of their book. And this applies to us too. Because when we talk about the stories, like the Quran tells us a lot of stories. But the main lesson is we are not to just listen to those stories and be amazed. Say, what's a beautiful story? Then what? And the Quran tells you, when we tell you the story, you better take a lesson from it. Inna lafi qasasihim la'ibra. We're not going to tell you stories. We're not storytellers. We tell you a story so you can learn a lesson from it and change your life for the better. When you read or you hear about the bad people and how they end, you learn not to become like them. When you read or you hear stories about the good people, you learn to become like them. So they become your example of your life. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us the story of Bani Israel. They have the book, they have all the teachings, but they started neglecting those teachings. And guess what? Slowly they started to lose their power. And it continued to the point where they lost everything. Not only they lost everything, it got to the point where now the enemies were victorious against them because they lost everything. Then now they came back to their sins. And they started asking, Ya Allah, can you send us a leader? A king who can lead us to gain our strength back. After years of these prayers, Allah sent them a prophet. And the prophet, his name is not mentioned in the Quran, but Quran says, إِذْ قَالَ لَهُمْ نَبِيُّهُمْ. Their prophet told them, and the prophet name is Nabi Allah Ishmael, not Ismail, Ishmael. Because the prophet came after Musa alayhi salam. He told them, Allah said, we send him Ishmael, going to be your prophet. He came as a prophet after Musa alayhi salam, and he started to teach them. After many years of teaching, they started putting pressure on him. That can you bring us a leader who can lead us to go and fight our enemies? Because by that time, their enemies in Palestine were able to push them out of their towns. Took all the powers from them, and they were living in their own state in disrespectful way. So they wanted to get out of it. So how do they want to do it? They want a leader who can lead them to go fight so they can get their power back. Then Nabi Allah Ishmael said to them, okay, I'm waiting for the order of Allah to tell me who's going to be your leader. Years passed. Then Allah told Nabi Allah Ishmael that I am sending you a leader who will lead Bani Israel to go and fight and get their books back. Then Nabi Allah Ishmael said, okay, Allah, but I don't know that person. How can I identify him? Allah said to him, Ya Nabi Allah, don't worry, we'll bring him to you. There was a man called Talut. Talut, according to some of the historians, he was called Talut from the word Tawil. The Arabs, they understand the word Tawil means tall. And he was called Talut because he was very tall. Talut used to live with his father, and his father was a shepherd. So what he used to do, he used to help his father to take care of those animals. So one day the animals went out, and one of them was missing. So he went out looking for that one animal with one of his friends, and they could not find that one animal that is missing. During the search, they end up in the city called Suf, in a town called Suf. And that Suf is the city where the prophet Ishmael lived. So the other friend told Talut, since we are in the city of Suf, where prophet Ishmael is, why don't we go and pay him a visit? Talut said, why not? Let's go. They went to prophet Ishmael. As they approached him, Ya Nabi Allah, we came to visit you. But see, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how he works. The moment Nabi Allah Ishmael saw Talut, he recognized that that's the man, that's the leader that Allah sent to me. Nabi Allah Ishmael received them very well. He sat with them. Immediately after that, he told Talut that I want you to become the leader of Bani Israel, to go and fight their enemies and gain their books back. Then Talut says, I didn't come here for war. I came here looking for my animal. And I'm a stranger here in this state. So how can I become a leader of Bani Israel? Then Nabi Allah Ishmael said, I chose you not because I wanted to. I was told by Allah that you are the deserving person to lead. Okay. Talut said, if that is what Allah wants, then I'm not going to object to Allah's will. So I accept the leadership. But I want you to know that I'm here because I lost my sheep. And I'm looking for that sheep. So if there is any way I can find it. Then Nabi Allah Ishmael said to him, Ya Talut, that animal is right now on the way to your home right now. By the time you get home, you'll find him there. I said, okay. So what is the next step? I said to him, Ya Talut, go back home and prepare and come back and lead Bani Israel. Then Prophet Ishmael went out to tell the Bani Israel that Allah has chosen you, Talut, to be a leader. He went out and he gathered all the Bani Israel. Ya Bani Israel, Inna Allah qad ba'atha lakum Talut malika. So I'm here to announce to you, all these years you've been asking for a leader, right? No, Allah sent you the leader. Who is the leader? He said, Inna Allah ba'atha lakum Talut malika. Talut is your leader. Bani Israel was like, what? Talut? So a leader? So yes. Why can he be a leader? أَنَّا يَكُونُ لَهُ الْمُلْكِ عَلَيْنَا وَنَحْنُ أَحَقُّ بِالْمُلْكِ مِنْ. How can he be a leader when we deserve the leadership than him? Now, what makes you to be a leader? Because Bani Israel, they think they're chosen children. They're better than anybody else. And anybody else supposed to be follower. And they have to be the leader. So Bani Israel, with that thinking, they thought Talut cannot be a leader. The leader should be one of them. And that's one of the sickness of Bani Israel throughout the history. They always think they deserve to be a leader. Nobody else. And by the way, that's why they refuse to follow Rasulullah. Because in their books, it is mentioned that the prophet after Musa and Isa is Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. And not only is mentioned, all the features of Rasulullah is mentioned in their book. They know that. And that's what Quran says, يَعْرِفُونَهُ كَمَا يَعْرِفُونَ أَبْنَاءَهُم. Allah said, we put all the details about Rasulullah in a way that they will recognize him in the same way they can recognize their own children. All the qualities there. But why did they reject Rasulullah? Because he wasn't one of them. So that was enough reason not to accept him. Now, so the Bani Israel, they started question, how can he become a leader? Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answered the question through the Prophet Ishmael. Ya Nabi Allah, tell them, Inna Allah astafah. The first reason what made Talut deserving leader is because he is appointed by Allah. That's the bottom line. Leadership in Islam is two kinds, brothers and sisters. One leadership is not for you and I to choose. It's Allah to choose. It's decision that comes from Allah. Nobody can question why does he become a leader, not me. One of them is to become a prophet. Every prophet is chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whether you like it or not, too bad. He's a prophet. I don't think he's qualified. That's your opinion, but he is the prophet. He's too young. No, it doesn't matter. Allah chose him. The youngest, the oldest, doesn't matter. He's the prophet. Because it's the decision of Allah. Why does he qualify to be a leader? That is Allah's knowledge. Do I like him? Alhamdulillah. I don't like, too bad. He's still a leader. That is why when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose Prophet Isa alayhi salam, a lot of people have some question. Right? They came to Maryam. Who is this? Oh, listen. فأشارت إليه قالوا كيف نكلم من كان في المهد صبيا قال إني عبد الله آتاني الكتاب وجعلني نبيا. Prophet Isa answered the question. You wonder who I am? He said, I am the servant of Allah. وَجَعَلَنِي. He made me, not you. Nabiya. You might think I'm a youngest. Yes. You might think I don't have a dad. Yes. But that's your thinking. But he's thinking, I'm the qualified one to lead. That is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the position of leadership in Islam, it has to be chosen by Allah. That's done deal. That's one. Number two, another position has to be chosen by Allah is the position of imamah. Imamah is not a president where you can go to a congress and choose or group of people, just vote for the prophet, for the imam. No. That position is Allah to decide who to become imam. And Allah said in the Quran in Surah Al-Baqarah to Ibrahim, وَإِذِ ابْتَلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ رَبُّهُ بِكَلِمَاتٍ فَأَتَمَّهُنْ قَالَ إِنِّي جَاعِلُكَ لِلنَّاسِ إِمَامًا. Allah said, Ya Ibrahim, now that you have passed all the tests, now you deserve and qualify to become imam. And Allah says in the Quran, إِنِّي جَاعِلُكَ. I am Allah appointing you for the position of imamah. So imamah is a position that not a person is to decide who to become imam. No, it's not for you or me to decide. It's Allah's decision through the Prophet. So all the imams, it's a divine position. That's why nobody can change them. Nobody can say no to them after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decide them to be the leaders. That's number two. So there are two leadership Allah chose, and you and I are to be only followers, and that's it. An imam and the prophet. That is two leaders. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told the Bani Israel that this Talut is the deserving one to become a leader. Now listen to the question of Bani Israel. He said, أَنَّا يَكُونُ لَهُ الْمُلْكَ عَلَيْنَا. How can he become a leader when he doesn't have money? See, the thinking of today is the same thinking of the years ago. They're thinking the leadership, the qualification of is money. And today we have the same problems too. Let's be real, brothers and sisters. Today our centers is having the same problem too. A person who is donating a lot of money, oh, he's going to become a leader. Does he have a qualification of a leader? Who cares? He has almighty money, almighty dollars. He deserves to be leader. There might be a deserving person in the society, in the community, who has all the qualities of leadership, but we're not going to let him to lead. Why? Because he doesn't have money. And he doesn't have a voice. And brothers, this is very dangerous. Because when we put the leadership in the people's hand who are not qualified, then you have to expect Karbala to happen. When the leadership goes to the wrong people, that is where the disaster starts. We have to be careful who we put as a leader. Because this leadership is not a joke. A leadership is a big responsibility. That a person who takes the leadership has to be qualified. And what are the qualifications of a person who's supposed to become a leader? This is where we have to learn from the Quranic point of view. It's not about money. When you look in the Quran, all the prophets that Allah sent, how many of them were wealthy people? Countable, right? Dawood, Sulaiman. The rest of them were poor people. But they were leaders. So money is not the reason to become a leader. Some of them, they might not have food to eat, but they're still the leaders. Quran tells you in Surah Al-Furqan, the people, when they look at some of the prophet, they say, how can he be a prophet when he's working in the market, buying tomatoes, onions, like us? Because they're thinking that the leader has to become what? Wealthy person. Well, the leadership qualification is not about money. There is more to it than what we think. So what are the qualities? Then Quran answered the Bani Israel. It said, listen careful. Number one, Inna Allah hastafa. First reason is Allah chose him. That's it. No question. When Allah or the Prophet or the Imam chooses someone, we should not question. All we have to say is, Sami'na wa ata'na. We heard and we obeyed. Might be younger, might not be the way we think, doesn't matter. The Prophet chose him, that's it. And listen to the Quran. Allah tells all the mu'mineen, وَمَا كَانَ لِمُؤْمِنٍ وَلَا مُؤْمِنَ إِذَا قَضَى اللَّهُ وَرَسُولُهُ أَمْرًا أَنْ يَكُونَ لَهُمُ الْخِيَرَةُ. When Allah and the Prophet made a decision about something, who to become a leader, Allah said the true believers don't have option. And this is why we have to go back to the history when Rasulullah chose Osama bin Zayd, the youngest child, the youngest of those companions, to become a leader. The true mu'minin wouldn't question, Ya Rasulullah, why should he be? When we have long beards, gray hair, he's like our grandson, how can we follow him? And they were questioning Rasulullah. Rasulullah, why didn't you choose one of us, the adults, people who have experience? And Rasulullah comes back and tells them, say, listen carefully. لَيْسَ الْأَكْبَرُ هُوَ الْأَفْضَلُ. If you think about the age is the cause of leadership, say, لَا لَيْسَ الْأَكْبَرُ هُوَ الْأَفْضَلُ. Now the age is what makes you to become a leader or the better. وَإِنَّمَا الْأَفْضَلُ هُوَ الْأَكْبَرُ. When you meet those qualities of the leadership, that's what makes you better. Even if you're a child. Even if you're youngest of all. So Quran tells us the qualities we should look into a leader. Number one, Quran says, Inna Allah astafa. Number two, وَزَادَهُ بَسْطَةً فِي الْعِلْمِ. The second quality of a leader is about knowledge. Knowledge is the key of the leadership. When a person in the society, in the community, and I'm saying this, brothers and sisters, let me break it down, because I'm not talking about just the imams and Ahlul Bayt and that's it. No, I'm talking about the leader in all levels. One of the levels, many of you are leaders. How am I going to be a leader? You're a leader of your family. In the family where there's a husband, there is a wife, there's a children. You are the leader. You got to observe some qualities to become a leader for those children. I'm a leader. I have brothers and sisters. I'm the oldest. You're a leader by Allah point of view. But you got to have those qualities. I'm a leader as a community. I have been chosen to become a leader. You have to make sure that you meet certain conditions. One of them, Quran says, al-ilm, because the knowledge is the key. If you don't have a knowledge, then how can you lead? Knowledge is the key of leadership. That's what Quran told Bani Israel. Inna Allah astaf wazadahu bastatan fil ilm. The Talut had more knowledge than you are. When you have a community or a family, the most knowledgeable is the one that qualifies. And you see, this is in all levels in Islam. Even in taqleed, as maraja, who do we supposed to follow? Al-a'lam fal-a'lam. The most knowledgeable. If you have an alim, you have a'lam, then he gets the preference to be followed. Because the knowledge is the key. That is why you see in Islam, knowledge is being emphasized so much. That's one also for our youth to understand. If you want to become leaders of tomorrow, the only way to go is knowledge. If you want to change the world, you want to change your society, your community, you can only do it with knowledge. That's why when you look in the Quran, the first ayah was revealed in the Quran, اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق. Read. You cannot change the world without knowledge. You cannot even change yourself without knowledge. That is why Quran tells us the first step of change is knowledge. And even in Islam, in Nahj al-Balagha, the first khutbah in Nahj al-Balagha, أول الدين معرفته. The first step in religion is to get to recognize Allah. Ilm, the knowledge. The same thing applies to the Salat, Imam al-Jama'ah, the most knowledgeable, and the list goes on. The first quality after Allah chosen someone in the society, the first one is al-ilm. And when we say ilm, what do we mean? Well, we have two kinds of ilm. They have al-ilm, and then we have al-ilm ma'al-amal. Al-ilm is knowledge. Sometimes we have a knowledge that we memorize, we can understand, and that's all about it. But then we have a knowledge with application, knowledge with practice. That is what the ayah is talking about. In Islam, I have a knowledge. I'm knowledgeable, but I'm not practicing. That is not called knowledge. Imam Ali alayhi salam in Nahj al-Balagha, he defined an alim in Nahj al-Balagha. He said, وَأَمَّا الْآخَرُ فَقَدْ تَسَمَّى بِعَالِمًا وَلَيْسَ مِنْهُمْ. Some are so-called alim, but they're not part of them. But who are that? The one that is only by words I memorize, but it's not applicable. Al-alim, I learn, I apply what I learn. That's the alim. That's the one who's supposed to be what? The example of a leader. You know, Imam Ali alayhi salam as a leader, he tells us in Mimbar, he said, Ayyuhan nas, you people listen to me. He said, Ma amartukum bi shay'in illa wa kad ataytuhu qablakum. I never ask you to do anything unless I done it first before I told you. وَلَا نَهَيْتُكُمْ أَنْ شَيْءٍ إِلَّا إِنْتَهَيْتُ أَنْهُ قَبْلَكُمْ. Never told you not to do unless I have refrained from it before you. That is the knowledge that gives you the preference of becoming a leader. And this applies to us as a fathers too, or mothers too. Because sometimes as a parent, I tell my children, do what I say, not what I do. Don't worry about what I do. Just do what I say. That's what some parents, we tell our children. This doesn't fly in Islam. In Islam, if you want to become a good role model, a leader for your children, you don't even need to say it. Your action itself is enough to tell the children who you are. That action is contagious. When you become a good example for your children, for your community, for your people, that itself is enough. And that is what Islam is emphasizing. The first is knowledge. That is number one from the Quranic point of view. Number two, وَزَادَهُ بَسْتَةً فِي الْعِلْمِ وَالْجِسْمِ. the body-wise also is important for leadership, especially when it comes to a war or standing against the enemies. That's why in Islam, your look and your structure also is very important. And I want to emphasize this, brothers and sisters, because sometimes we think Islam is all about spirituality and that's it. No, Islam also is about your look, how fit you look, how healthy you look, how you carry yourself. Listen to Imam Ali in Najl in Dua Kumail. What he asked Allah in Dua Kumail that you read, he said, Allahumma qawwi ala khidmatika jawarihi. Ya Allah, strengthen my body in your service. Make me stronger so that I can serve you better. That is Imam Ali. Inna in Dua Kumail. He tells Allah, this body also is important. That's why even in our fiqh, our maraja, they said, in salat, if you have two scholars, both are scholars, knowledge-wise, they're all good, right? But one of them is missing a leg, for example. Then the preference goes to whom? To the one who doesn't miss anything. One of them is a blind. The other one is not. They both are scholars. But Islam said the preference goes to the one who's not a blind. That is in fact. Because the body and the look also count in Islam. That's why Allah told Bani Israel, وَزَادَهُ بَسْتَةً فِي الْعِلْمِ وَالْجِسْمِ. Because this body is needed too as a leader. Listen to Imam Ali in Najl Balagha, how he described Rasulullah. He said, كُنَّا إِذَا حَمِيَ الْوَطِيزِ احْتَمَيْنَا بِرَسُولِ اللَّهِ. He said, when we go to the battlefield and the battle becomes so tense, he said, where do we go? He said, we seek refuge in the Prophet. We go to him to hide. That is a leader after Rasulullah. Because body-wise, he has to be very strong. The second quality of a leader is to be fit also. That is number two. Number three, Quran says, the third quality is a leader must be very patient. When you become a leader, you will face so many people. Some are ignorant. Some are just going to be a bug in your nose. Right? Sometimes it happens, and Sheikh can tell you. Sometimes in Alim, people come and ask you a question. They're not asking you because they want to learn. They want to test your knowledge. And some of them will be blank with you. They tell you, I ask another Sheikh, and he say A, B, C, but I want to see what you're going to say. You know, basically, I want to test your knowledge and see if you're qualified or not. Are you going to meet all of these people? Imam Ali met the same people too. Imam Ali alayhi salam will sit on the member. Some people will stand and ask him questions. Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, you said, Saluni qabla an tafquduni. Didn't you? He said, yes, I said. He said, Kam sha'ratun fi ra'si wa lihyati. No, I'm going to ask you a question. Tell me, how many hair do I have in my head and beard? But Imam Ali tells him, ask me what's going to benefit you in your dunya and akhirah. But what question he asked? He asked about how many hair in his beard. Then Imam Ali alayhi salam looks at him and he gives him the perfect answer. He said, Allamani habibi Rasulullah. My beloved messenger tells me, أن تحت كل شعرة في رأسك ولحيتك شيطان يلعنك إلى يوم القيامة. Now the Prophet told me that underneath of every hair of your head and your beard, there is shaitan sitting right there cursing you until the day of judgment. That's what you deserve. A leader has to be patient. And Allah told the Prophet, He said, فَبِمَا رَحْمَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكَ لِنْتَ لَهُمْ وَلَوْ كُنْتَ فَضًّا غَلِيظَ الْقَلْبِ لَانْفَضُّوا مِنْ حَوْلِكَ. A leader has to be patient. Because a lot of time, people will come, they will do a lot of things, but you have to have a big heart. That's why the Prophet, Allah told him in the Quran, أَلَمْ نَشْرَحْ لَكَ صَدْرًا. Musa alayhi salam, Allah told him, go to Fir'aun, called him. The first thing he says, رَبِّ اشْرَحْ لِي صَدْرِي وَيَسِّرْ لِي أَمْرِي وَاحْلُلْ عُقْدَةً مِّن لِسَانِي يَفْقَهُ قَوْلِي. Ya Allah, expand my heart so I can take all kind of nonsense of those people. And that's going to happen. As a leader, you have to be ready for it. Sometimes as a father in your family, in your children, some of them are going to say things, disrespect. Some of them going to do certain things that is not appropriate. But you have to be patient to be able to deal with it. That is a sign of a leader. Leadership, it requires sabr, a lot of sabr. Because sometimes it requires patience to be able to make certain decisions too. You know, Dawood al-Nabi alayhi salam, when he went to the war with Jalil, his dua was, رَبَّنَا أَفْرِغْ عَلَيْنَا صَبْرًا وَثَبِّتْ أَقْدَامَنَا وَانْصُرْنَا عَلَى الْقَوْمِ الْكَافِرِينَ. First request was sabr, patience. Because being a leader is a big challenge. You have to have a lot of patience. That is another quality. Another quality of a good leader is to always have mercy for your people. To be merciful for the people. Merciful? Yes, you have to. That's why Quran tells us about Rasulullah, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. Merciful. And that's why you cannot find a leaders in anywhere like Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Merciful to the point you cannot even imagine. Can you imagine people like Imam Hussein on the day of Ashura? He looks at his enemies who came to fight him and he is crying for their destiny. And he said to them, أبكي على أناس يدخلون النار بسببي. I'm crying for people who are going to hellfire because of me. You know, you and I, when your enemy is in trouble, what do you say? Alhamdulillah. Right? And sometimes say, Allah, yes, more, Allah, because he's bad. Rasulullah, he went to Ta'if. The people who stoned him bled. Jibreel comes, Ya Rasulullah, what do you want me to do with them? He said to Jibreel, nothing. He said, Rabbi ihdi al-qawm فَإِنَّهُمْ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. Ya Allah, all I want is for you to guide them. But no punishment. That's the rahmah. Leader has to have rahim, rahmah. Want good for everyone. Love for everyone. Care for everyone. That is one of the quality of a good leader. You care and you want good for everybody. That's Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. That is quality number 4. Number 5, brothers and sisters, a good leader is to able to make a decision. In certain situations, you have to be very firm. And let me tell you, brothers and sisters, a good leader is not worried about people liking him. First of all, you're not going to be liked by the people anyway. Just keep this real. You cannot buy the love of people, period. If people are to love someone, unconditional, it should be Allah. Because he's the provider. He's the creator. He has done everything for people. How many people turn and curse Allah? After all what he did for them, they turn and they are ungrateful to him. But tomorrow he's going to give them anyway. That is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But people are not grateful. That is why there is a saying, رِضَى النَّاسِ غَايَةٌ لَا تُدْرَكْ. To please people is an aim that cannot be achieved. As a leader, your objective should be to please Allah. That's it. Now, in doing so, Mr. A is happy, alhamdulillah. Mr. B is not happy, alhamdulillah. As a leader, it shouldn't matter. And sometimes as a leader, we want everybody to be happy with us. No, it's not going to happen like that. A leader have to make decisions. People will be angry at you. They might say bad words about you. Provided that you're doing the right thing, That should be your goal. They might not understand today. They might not understand tomorrow. They might understand in the future. Give you an example like your children. You wake up in the morning, you wake up your son. You say, get ready for the school. Say, I don't feel like going to school. Say, no, you got to go to school. Say, I feel like staying home today. I want to play. Say, no, you're not going to play your game. You're going to go to school today. He insists, crying. I say, no, you're going to go to school anyway. He's crying, but you force him to go to school. He doesn't understand why you're forcing him. Today, he might not understand. But in the future, when he got his degree and started making that money, say, oh, mashallah, it feels good to get money, right? Now he can understand. But when he was a child, he doesn't understand. A leader has to make a decision that people might not understand today. But they will understand in the future when they start to see the fruit of that decision. And let me tell you some of the examples, brother, practical example in Iran. Ayatollah Burujirdi, rahmatullah ta'ala alayh, when he first came and he started the Hausa classes, a lot of people came to him and they were telling him, why don't you rise against Shah? Why don't you do this? And he said to them, I don't need to. So why not? Look at him, dude. He said, I am preparing someone who's going to do that. They said, who? He said, they're still in the backbone of their fathers, but they're going to come. And he emphasized on teaching and educating people. And today, what happened after all these years? One of that students from this Ayatollah Burujirdi came and did the revolution and made the change. That's called vision. He saw this years. He didn't live to see it. But he planted the seed that the fruit is being reaped today. That's a sign of a good leader. That you think about the future of your people, the future of your community. They might not see what you're doing today, but they will reap the benefit in the future. The last and another important quality of a leader. The leader is like a candle, burn itself to give light for others. That is a leader. The leader put himself in so much pain, struggles, so that the others can benefit from that. And it's not a joke, brothers and sisters. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of time and energy and courage. But it's one of the ways of a leader, that a leader put themselves, burned themselves in so many services for the community so that the community get to benefit from it. And that is one of the quality of a leader. Leadership is not a joke. That's why when you look at Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, they possess all these qualities. You go to like Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, with all his qualities that he has as a leader. At a time when people are lost into who is the right leader. There were people who think Yazid is the right leader because he got the power. And there are people who lost. They can't define the true leader. And Imam Hussein alayhi salam, he made it clear for them. Clarify for them who is the right leader. How? Not by words, it's also by practice. And you can see all this example that we mentioned in Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Merciful. He sees these enemies who come to fight him and they're thirsty. He could use the water as a tool, as a weapon against them. But he says, no. So I'm going to give them the water. Not only give them water, also he taught them how to spray the water on those animals and the people. That is a sign of a good leader. Not only that, he tells the people, I know you're here to fight me, to kill me, but I still have to want good for you. And that I have to advise you what is the right and wrong, and let you to make that decision. That is a good leader. That is why today you see Imam Hussein alayhi salam, His example is not just for the Muslims or non-Muslims, it's for every humanity. People who don't even believe in God, they take examples of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, because they see the light of that leadership in him. The narration said after the tragedy of Karbala, they came to Medina to tell the story about what happened to Karbala. فأذن مؤذن, the call saying, يا أهل يثرب لا مقام لكم قتل الحسين فادمعي. He said, oh, the people of Medina, I'm here to tell you that Hussein is being killed. The people started gathering to hear what happened. There was a lady running out to see what is the news. A wonderful lady called al-Baneen. She was carrying her grandson. As she walks out to listen to the tragedy of Karbala, the announcer saw her and he said, عَظَّمَ اللَّهُ لَكِ الْأَجْرِ. I said, oh, Ya al-Baneen, may Allah give you the greater reward for losing your son, Abbas. You know what she said? She says, I didn't ask you about my son, Abbas. أخبرني عن ولدي الحسين. So I rather want to know, what is the matter with my son, Hussein? Is he alive or is dead? Then the announcer continued, عَظَّمَ اللَّهُ لَكَ الْأَجْرِ. May Allah give you the greater reward for losing your son, Abdullah, Ja'far. And she would not bother to hear about them. After all their children were mentioned, then the turn comes. He says, عَظَّمَ اللَّهُ لَكِ الْأَجْرِ بِمُصَابِ وَلَدَكِ الْحُسَيْنِ. This woman, when she heard the name of Hussein, she dropped her grandson on the floor. She couldn't take. What a great woman. She heard her own children were murdered. That did not strike her. But the moment she heard, عَظَّمَ اللَّهُ لَكِ الْأَجْرِ فِي وَلَدِكِ الْحُسَيْنِ, she could not handle that. She fell on the ground, screaming and crying for losing her son, Al-Hussein alayhi salam. This woman who spent all her life in serving Imam al-Hassan and Hussein. This woman who cares about nothing but serving al-Hassan and Hussein. And after the tragedy of Karbala, every day she will go to the Baqi and make the grave of Hassan and Hussein and cry for the martyrdom of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين. إلى أموات المؤمنين والمؤمنات لا سيما الحاضرين ومن أوصاني بالدعاء ومن مات على الإيمان ومن مات على ولاية أهل البيت. رحم الله من يقرأ الفاتحة مع الصلوات.